So a rumor came out last week about there have been test screenings of the latest Star Wars movie, Rise of the Skywalker, and the rumors are that audiences hate it because it's terrible, which is in and of itself a really believable premise for a rumor. I know Zach at Comics Matter with your boy Zach, did a little video about it where he talked about not believing it at all. He just thought it was totally fake. And probably I would say I don't know, but probably it is. First of all, it involves a test screening, which they claim they don't do for the Star Wars movies, which I can believe just because why would you release that to an audience? There's going to be 1,000 spoiler breakdowns of the movie the next day if you give it to a test audience to look at, because nowadays with online anonymity you can just go on social media as anybody and just put up what happens in the movie. So it's probably not a good idea from that standpoint. And from the other standpoint, does it seem like Disney is listening to audiences? Do people like Bob Iger or Kathleen Kennedy or J.J. Abrams, do you think they're waiting for Joe Schmo to weigh in with his opinion? Do you think they're waiting for Rando Wine Mom to weigh in with her opinion? This movie's going to get screened, but it's going to get screened for Disney executives. And then more of them exist than need to, so they'll pack a theater. And then they'll watch it and they'll give their opinions. Those are the only people that matter to them. So Bob Iger's going to watch this movie, and then he's going to know what he thinks about it. He doesn't care what anybody off the street thinks about this movie. So people writing Doomcock with these rumors about test screenings, that part is probably all made up. But it doesn't really matter that they're all made up because they're telling us the truth that we all know anyway. This movie's a hot garbage fire disaster. And they're still doing reshoots, and that part's all true because they have no idea what to make this movie into. They're trying to save it in reshoots. They're trying to save it in editing because a lot of Disney executives, including Bob Iger, might have no idea why anyone has ever liked Star Wars. But they'll watch it and they go, this sucks. Or it's like the movies that came before. I don't think anybody's going to like it. And Solo lost $200 million, right? Now, that wasn't one of the main films, but when you lose $200 million on your last movie in the franchise, that's a real dangerous sign. So, no, I don't probably think the person writing Doomcock with these rumors is trustworthy. But the fact is, this movie's going to suck, and we all know it anyways. And audiences are going to hate it, and we all know it anyways. And critics are going to lie about it. And probably Disney might, buy their own movie tickets. We don't know if that's true or not. It certainly seems reasonable, given that they're Disney, to make it look like it's doing well. But it's going to be stupid garbage because the problem with all of these Disney Star Wars movies is they have no creative vision behind them. There's nothing to them. So now you're trying to salvage this movie after The Last Jedi. Where do you take it? There's nowhere to take it. It's all just hot garbage made up in the moment and thrown in front of a camera. And it started with J.J. Abrams working on The Force Awakens. A lot of people say The Force Awakens is bad because it rips off A New Hope, or Star Wars, as we used to call that movie. No, it's not. It's not bad because it rips off A New Hope. If you're starting out movie making, I invite you. Go ahead and rip off your favorite movie, beat by beat. And if you make it just as good as that movie, nobody's going to mind. You're going to have a huge hit on your hands. Nobody cares. Nobody minds if you make a great movie that rips off another movie, even beat by beat, right? Just change the nouns. If you love The Godfather, make The Godfather again, but with just change the nouns. They're not an organized crime, they're in something else. They're not in New York, they're in someplace else. And just go. It'll be fine. The problem with The Force Awakens is that it sucks and it has no creative vision behind it. Now, the fact that it lacks any creative vision whatsoever is kind of part and parcel with being a total ripoff of A New Hope. I think that's where the criticism comes from, where people are saying, well, it just rips off A New Hope, it sucks. It's creatively bankrupt. There's nothing behind it. It's just, I want money. Put something on the movie screen and make money. That's all it is, and that's all it was. So when they did, The Last Jedi, it's a little bit like that random storytelling game where you talk for 3 minutes and then the next person talks for 3 minutes. That's what it was when Rian Johnson came in. It was just, here's an ad-lib story. Now you make up your 5 minutes. And it really shows it because there's no sense of universe. There's no sense of anything making sense behind this. The facade of Star Wars is on full display where there's just There is no universe behind it. It's just make it up in the minute as you go. And Rian Johnson, who's not a talented storyteller, he made Looper, which is kind of a lulzy, stupid movie. It's dumb. And then he made The Last Jedi, and it's dumb. And it's just random shit thrown up there on the screen from a storytelling perspective. So now you're going to do Rise of the Skywalker. Where do you... They talk about, well, we're going to save the franchise. We're going to save the franchise. You don't have the talent to make a good movie, or else you would have already made good movies. And so they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go with it because it's just an improv storytelling exercise. There's nothing behind it. There's no world. There's no story that needs to be told. And we all know this implicitly. So is this movie going to suck? Of course. Of course it's going to suck. Whether they test screen it or not, we all know it's garbage, and they've been trying to do reshoots to satisfy probably people who have watched it, who are Disney executives, because they know it sucks. And ultimately, it doesn't matter whether these rumors are true, because come December, people are going to go in and go, oh, another letdown movie. And frankly, probably most of the Star Wars audience, normies out there, are done with this franchise. It's just boring. It's just poor. You're going to pay $15 to go sit through something that sucks for 2 hours. People aren't into it. Most people aren't hardcore nerds. Star Wars can't survive on just their money because there aren't that many of them. They need regular people who like going to movies. And these Star Wars movies made by Disney, they suck. They're just product, and everybody knows it. So it doesn't matter if the rumor is true or false. We all know what's going to happen come December. This movie is going to put the nail in the coffin on this franchise. And maybe Disney can keep making Star Wars movies the way they make Marvel movies, where in Ant-Man or Doctor Strange or even Spider-Man, they make $700 million. Maybe they can do that. Or maybe it'll be more like Terminator, where people are just tired of the crap. And they start making, $400 million off a $200 million movie and basically lose a tremendous amount of money. I don't know how it's going to go specifically in the future, but we all know how this movie's going to go. It's going to suck.